Oh my God, I am so glad you hit play and that I am back being a host for my favorite hobby in the entire world, hosting the Yoga and Podcast. And this episode is just going to be more about updating you on all the things, updating you on the show. Oops. um, if you see the video, I got tangled in the mic and I am drying my toes. So I have like the toe separators. It's really dumb. Okay. So yeah, that's what that is. But this episode is about why I stopped, what got in the way of this show that I love to. This is like my favorite way to connect to people. It has been one of the most positive opportunities for myself. I've got to connect to so many cool people for 4 years, and it broke my heart to take a break from the show. So I just wanted to get on here and kind of explain myself, explain, why I'm back and what has gotten in the way. And I guess today there's a lot to go over. So, first of all, thank you for being here. If you've listened to the show before, I'm so glad you're back. If you're brand new to Yoga and Podcast, typically, and I would go back to past episodes, maybe from the beginning, I interview mind body luminaries worldwide, and they share their knowledge about yoga and how it relates to other aspects in life. And you can look at every title, yoga and Buddhism, yoga and anatomy, yoga and queerness. I mean, it goes on and on and on. And so, as I'm starting up the podcast again, just rest assured that will continue to be the same quality, high quality interviews, educational interviews. That is not going away. With the added next level technology. If you know me at all, if you know me personally or you know me professionally, it is a miracle I can get technology to work. It's like against all odds, I've been able to make technology work for me over and over and over. And I think what it is I just let myself get really frustrated. I expect things to be hard. And then I just let them be hard if they are. And then I cry and then I go back and I somehow figure it out. So also YouTube videos have really helped me to navigate and troubleshoot technology. And I mean in all the ways you could use technology, from a website to design to schedule, like everything. Okay, so what's been happening with me? Podcast. I started the podcast right before COVID, like literally a month before. And then there wasn't a whole lot to do during COVID except for learn how to produce a show. So I was very into podcasting that first year. I think most people, everyone and their grandmother became a podcaster that year, right? And then I kept going. I didn't produce the show quite as often. I did it every 2 episodes a month after, a year. And now, fast forward to last April, I decided to move back to Austin proper. I was living, in Austin, Texas, but like the outskirts. I was living out kind of isolated on a lake in a cabin. It was awesome and it was very isolating. So about 9 months ago, I moved back to Austin proper because I was craving community. I was craving to be back in Austin again. And then a month after I moved back to Austin, I found a place to start my own business called the Pilates Apothecary. So you might be wondering, like, why does she have a yoga podcast if she has a Pilates business? I straddle the line. I'm like one of those people who loves both Pilates and yoga equally. I get a lot out of both. I believe in integrating everything. I believe in, so my Pilates studio has a lot of medicinal herbs in it, hence the name Pilates Apothecary. I integrate my herbal knowledge. I went to herb school last year. with Pilates. So every time you come in for a session, you get a medicinal herbal tea that, for the most part is seasonally right on point. Like I will give you a tea that helps release excess heat from your body. For instance, if you're visiting me in the heat of the summer in September in Texas, okay? But also who I am as a person, as a teacher, yoga really refined and created that level of teaching, being a teacher, being able to hold space. But the main reason I started the Pilates Apothecary was not all Pilates studios. I'm not at all. But my experience with a lot of Pilates studios in the past where they were not inclusive. They were very exclusive. And I could tell you story after story after story. And so the yoga teacher in me, the yoga side of me, wanted a place where there was absolutely no judgment. Okay. So that's really, really a big focus for me as a teacher, but also when I went to herb school, the business idea just clicked. And so I say all that also to share with you that my business, my studio is not exclusively Pilates. I do offer community events, yin yoga, and my cat is crying for something. I gave her food. I don't know. What do you want? If you want attention, you can come over here. Okay. Okay, so podcasting, I miss podcasting, but it is a little weird because you're rambling by yourself if you're not interviewing someone. It's very strange. However, I have missed it. So let me just say, let me back up. From now on, yoga and podcast will be sponsored by my studio, the Pilates Apothecary, which encompasses way more than just Pilates. Yoga, meditation, herbs, and Pilates, okay? So to give you an example of that, I'm going to plug my business right now. I have a weekly walking meditation at Mueller Park every Thursday from 6 to 7 p.m. If you want to look into that or join it, it is a beautiful way to slow down. It's a beautiful way to connect to yourself, community, nature. That'll be linked in the show notes. I also have what is called a hybrid class. It's hybrid meaning both virtual and in real life. I have a Sunday Yin Ritual where every Sunday from 6 to 7 p.m. Central Time, you can meet me and the class, and we just chill and do some yin yoga. We explore a little bit of ritual within the yoga class. And that is another offering, besides my Pilates. I also, what has changed since I've been podcasting was I wrote a teacher training, a Pilates mat and PiYo meaning Pilates yoga teacher training. It's a weekend teacher training. It's 20 hours. You're not going to do all 20 hours that weekend. There's 5 you're going to observe after. But I led a few of those, and then I have my first opportunity as the time of this recording to teach outside of my city. I'm going to be teaching in San Antonio at Flores Street Yoga in April 12th and 13th, 2025. So that's really exciting. And I met the owner, Mia, from podcasting. It's crazy. Okay. I'm getting like overexcited and overwhelmed. Okay, so the main thing is I want you to know that I'm going to be back. I have interviews lined up. It's going to be a good time. It's going to be a real nerdy, yogic good time. I am open to your suggestions. I'm open to your suggestions in all the ways because I am getting back, and I'm also learning new technology. Since the short year I've taken off from this, and the reason I took off too was the platform I was using got bought out, and I didn't have the bandwidth to learn new technology to produce because so the technology has changed for the better for podcasting, and I am so grateful. But it again, I have to learn. I have to learn more, and we know how I feel about technology. It makes me cry. So there's going to be a little bit of that learning curve at first. Yeah, that's basically all I have, and I'm so grateful to have this place to speak my truth, speak whatever, share my interest. Really, I was thinking about at the time of this recording, it's end of January in 2025, and I don't do New Year's resolutions, but I do like a theme or a word, and freedom just keeps coming up for me. And going out on my own and doing my own business is next level freedom for me. It's terrifying and awesome. It's like everyone knows owning your own business is hard, and this is how I've learned to describe it. It's like everyone goes through highs and lows, right? Everything comes together and everything falls apart. The thing about I've learned in this short time being a business owner is everything really falls apart. And then everything really, really, really comes back together. And the highs and lows are like the biggest ones I've experienced in my life. I am moving. I got the opportunity to move my studio downtown. And I'm actually, I've spent today like packing things for my new studio. And, but like a week ago, I was like feeling like the dumbest person in the world because I couldn't find a place, right? So it's beautiful and it's intense, and I'm so grateful I have this freedom. And the podcast is another expression of my freedom, my voice, the freedom to connect with others and be inspired by others. And so let me know what you're thinking about in terms of guests you want on the show. And I don't know, any other suggestions? I think that's all I want to say. And if you happen to be in the Austin area, let's connect. My Instagram is Pilates Apothecary on Instagram, on TikTok as well. If you want to connect to the podcast, you can email me at yogaandpodcast.com. It's YOGAAND podcast at gmail.com. And I'd love to connect.